What's going on, everybody? It's Stats here. So a pretty interesting day in the markets today. We had the S&P go up 0.3%, the Dow went up 0.7%, the Nasdaq 100 went down 0.4%, and the Russell 2000 went up 0.5%. So today we're going to be breaking down the markets, taking a look at some technicals, going over 7 stocks to buy now, and I want to share with you guys my thoughts on the overall market. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee. You might as well get some free money down below from WeBull and from M1 Finance, and check out my Patreon while you're at it, and let's get right into the video. So overall, we can see right here the S&P went up 0.27% roughly, and SPY closed right above a key point, and that key point was above $418, as that was and has been resistance for many times in the past month, right? You guys can see here on the hourly chart, 418, we struggled there in the middle of April, all throughout the end of April into the beginning of May, and we actually broke up to an all-time high. That was 3 trading days ago. I believe that was on Thursday, and ever since then, the markets have been teeter-tottering, right? We've been consolidating, seeing some volatility. The VIX has been kicking up, right? The fear and the volatility index, and at this point in time, we close, like I said, right above 418, and we're pretty much hanging on by a thread. You can see the intraday action on SPY today was pretty volatile. We popped up to 419.80, back down to 418, back up to 419, and we closed above 418, like I said. So I believe if we gap under 418, we break under the 180 SMA and the overall uptrend here on the hourly chart, which as of now, believe it or not, guys, it's still holding, right? Well, it's not too unbelievable that it is holding because the markets have been crushing it, right, guys? But like I said, we've been seeing some volatility as of late. And the second 417, 418 breaks this overall uptrend, we go down to 416.50. If we break that, that is where I think we could see a bit of softening in the overall markets. Maybe we see a bit of a sell-off. And we've discussed this before. If you guys remember, about a month ago, I made a video talking about how April could be an amazing month in the markets. Now, looking back, we obviously just experienced April, and it was, in fact, an amazing month in the markets. And I wasn't just pulling that out of my you-know-what. I had statistics to back it up. We ran through some numbers. We saw how the best 2 months in the markets historically are April and July, and we got that awesome month of April. I mean, SPY went from roughly 400 to about 420. It saw about a 5% move in April, and now I'm questioning this. Like, okay, we saw such a good month of April. Something's going to give soon. I think in May or June, we might see a bit of a sell-off. We might see a correction even, maybe a 10% drop. Maybe, I don't want to say a bear market, which would be a 20+% drop. That's a bit extreme unless we saw some crazy catalyst, the market completely crashed. I mean, that would obviously pose a bear market threat if we went over 20%, but I'm not seeing anything like that right now. And could we go down maybe 5, maybe 10%? Sure, that could end up happening. And who knows, we go to 405, that'd only be a 3% drop on SPY. That's nothing crazy. That would be a healthy pullback. And if the 180 SMA were to break here on the 4-hour chart, maybe we end up going 397 on SPY. Maybe we end up going 385. These would be lower targets I'd be looking at, which if we were to go to 385, 380, that would be about a 10% drop, which would equate to a correction, because a correction is whenever the market drops 10% plus from a peak, and really anything between 10 and 20% of a drop, that is considered a correction. So for tomorrow, for the whole week here, I'm watching 418, 416.50, and 410, 411 here on SPY. Those are a couple of key levels, and pulling up QQQ quickly, guys, we can see that we sold off across tech today, right? That is what we're seeing. We're seeing a big resistance at $342, and we're failing to break out of there, obviously, and now we're about to approach, well, we're already there, $335 per share, and now it's looking like QQQ is in a horizontal channel. We've been in this for the past 2-3 weeks at this point, and if we end up failing at 335, which I'm watching tomorrow and the whole week, rest of the week here, that means we could go 332, right around the 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart, followed by 300, and I'd say 25. That'd be another target to watch out for if the 180 SMA failed holding. And let's say if 325 failed to hold, maybe we go down 312, 315, which at that point in time, we're talking about correction territory. We'd be down 8, 9, 10%. So watch out for those levels across the board. And like I said, the VIX has been going up, although today it went down a little bit. But overall, the past couple of days, it's been going up. And we saw precious metals go up today. Silver went up 4.4%. Gold went up over 1.4%. And I made a video earlier talking about some breakout gold, silver, oil stocks I'm watching. I'll link that down below. I'm not going to mention those stocks in this video, so make sure to watch that video. I'll link it down below, like I said. And really, guys, the only thing that makes me nervous is we had such a good month of April, which we, again, talked about the statistics about a month ago. We had such a great month of April, and I'm nervous about us having, yet again, another great month of May, because what are the odds that we have a 5% month in April for the S&P and another 5 to 10, or not even 10%, but another 5% in the month of May? I mean, that seems slim to none. I don't want to say slim to none because it could happen, but I feel like a pullback is more likely at this point in time, and I'd love to know what you guys have to think about all of that down below in the comments, and make sure to drop a like if you guys are enjoying this video so far. And did you get your free stocks from WeBull yet? If you didn't do that, those are linked down below. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you get 2 stocks valued up to $1,600. In fact, we both get 2 stocks since it is an affiliate link, and that helps me out and the overall channel here on YouTube. So let's talk about some stocks here. I have 7 to go over. Number 1 is Tattooed Chef, TTCF. This is one that did well today despite the NASDAQ going down. We saw a bit of volatility. Tattooed Chef did well, went up 2%, up 40 cents. And I'm watching this very closely because I have a position in Tattooed Chef. I have not only a swing, but also a long-term position in this stock. They also report earnings coming up here in 3 days, and I do plan on holding my swing through these earnings because this is a longer term swing for me. And as of now, guys, look, Tattooed Chef, it's still technically in a downtrend, right? Although it's trying to break out of the downtrend. In fact, it's making steps to break out of the downtrend. You guys can see we broke out of this trend right here, the descending triangle. Actually, not really a descending triangle, but we're peaking out of the wedge, let's call it that. Also, the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart here. And we're starting to peak out of 1850. Well, we did earlier in the day. We closed under 1850, but earlier on the intraday chart, you guys can see Tattooed Chef almost hit $19 today. So we're peaking out of that 1850 level of old support, which is now resistance. That was support all throughout March into April a little bit. So as long as we get out of $19, if that does end up happening, I mean, that's going to be very bullish for Tattooed Chef in the short term. Let's say the earnings are great, guidance comes in awesome, right? This ends up breaking the 180 moving average on the 4-hour chart as well, which is right around $19. This could finally start seeing a breakout, and I'm saying finally because look, the stock, let's be honest, it hasn't had a nice run ever since, when was this? November? Actually, it was end of November into December. That's the last time it saw a rally, and at that point it went from $14 all the way to $28, so it doubled up. And am I saying it's going to double up again from $18 to $36? I'm not saying that necessarily, although it could happen. I'm not saying that yet. But what I am saying is, yeah, could it go from $19 to $22, $25, $23? Yes, that I could see it doing here in the short term and in the next couple of months even. That is what I'm personally looking at for Tattooed Chef. So I like this stock. Earnings coming out here on the 6th. And let me be honest, I'm super excited for these earnings because I have a long-term position as well in this stock. And I believe in it long-term, and I also love the products. I have to love the products if I'm investing in a company long-term. And Tattooed Chef, I sure do like the products. Let me be honest with you guys. And you should definitely check them out. They're at Target. They're at Walmart. I believe they're at Costco, these different types of stores. So check them out. And Open Door, OPEM, is another one that I'm looking at here. They're reporting earnings coming up here on the 11th, so 8 days from now. What is that? Next Tuesday, they're reporting earnings. And like Tattooed Chef, Open Door is also still downtrending. We're under the 50, the 180 moving averages here on the 4-hour chart. In fact, we just got hit at a double top couple days ago at the 180 SMA. We ended up dumping off of that, or rather dumping under that, which is not too great. That means the downtrend is trying to continue, right? But I'm also seeing an inverse head and shoulder forming here. We have the left shoulder, the head, and this could possibly be the right shoulder. I mean, at this point, we are holding the neckline right around $19, and as long as the neckline holds and we consolidate above 19, maybe we get a rip back up towards $22. We break $22, and then boom, that right shoulder in the inverse head and shoulder would end up panning out. And is this going to happen for sure? No, it's not. I don't know what's going to happen. All I'm sharing with you guys is ideas that I'm seeing based on these charts here. And the second it breaks under, if it breaks under $19, it's not going to work out, because at that point in time, the neckline were to break, and then we're going to be pushing for a lower low, which in this case would be anywhere from $16, $15, which is the support of the head in the inverse head and shoulder. So I'm watching Open Door here moving forward. Mercado Libre is another one. MELI is the ticker on this. They also report earnings here in the next couple of days, actually in 2 days from now. So Wednesday, Mercado Libre reports, and they're headquartered in Argentina. They're an e-commerce business on the up and up, guys. They're coming up. I believe Kathy Wood, she still owns this. I haven't really tracked, the funds in a while. I mean, I don't own any of her funds anymore. I did own ARKK. I rode that from, I think, $90 to $130, ended up dumping out of that, took my profits, and I'm not sure, again, like I said, if they still own Mercado. I'm sure they do. And let me check ARKK. What's that trading at now? It's trading at 116. So it seems like ever since I dumped out, and I'm not a wizard, a fortune teller, whatever, but ever since I sold out, this thing has been getting slammed, right? And a lot of the stocks that are in the ARK investment funds, a lot of them have been getting slammed. So it makes sense as to why the ETFs are going down, right? But going back to Mercado Libre, MELI is the ticker, like I said. This is one that, as of now, is in a wedge. Lower highs are being made, same with the higher lows. So higher lows, lower highs. And if we zoom in a bit, we also see we're trading under the 50 and the 180 SMAs here. So I'd love to see Mercado Libre break out of, let's say, $1,600. I'm going to put an alert right at 16 right now. Maybe 1650. We'll put it at 1650. And that is the high point, really, from the past 2+ months. We haven't been above 1650 ever since the end of February, beginning of March. So I think if we get good earnings, good EPS, good guidance, and we get some nice, assurance from the management team, whatever, we'll see how that goes down. This could end up breaking 1650 and ultimately getting out of this 2.5 month rut that it's been in. And I'm not saying it's going to go straight back to 2000. I don't want to say it's a long shot, but we got to go baby steps here, guys. But I do think it could go 1780, more like 1720, right? That was a resistance back in, when was this? Back in the end of December. 1720 was also support in the end of January. So if 1650 breaks, watch for 1720, followed by, let's say, 1840, which was support all throughout February, for a lot of February at least. So I like Mercado Libre with earnings coming up here. Pfizer is another one, PFE. We got news. They're in discussions with India to expedite the approval of the CVV shot, and the stock went up 3% today, up $1.20, closed a tad bit under $40 per share. And this is looking like a breakout. No kidding, right? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that, right? And with today's move, it actually broke out of that resistance from the end of April at about 39.50. So I believe it or not, there could be more upside in Pfizer in the very short term, even though it is pretty overbought here on the RSI on the 4-hour chart. I think it still could go $40.30, which was the high back in the beginning of November. It could also go to $41.50, which was that high point from the beginning of December. So I think there's juice left in this, and of course, a lot of it hangs on India. A lot of it hangs on these earnings coming out tomorrow pre-market. But I'm telling you guys, if these earnings are good, with everything going on right now with the V-shot, Pfizer, obviously Moderna, we have J&J, a bunch of other companies, I think there's upside in the short term. So watch out for that. PFE is the ticker. Activision, Blizzard, ATVI is another one I'm watching with earnings coming up, I believe tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow after market hours they report. And as of now, they're also in a wedge, making lower highs, higher lows, trading under the moving averages. So I need to see Activision hold $90, right? If $90 holds, which has held ever since the beginning of March, I think there's hope for a rally to the mid-90s, right? Right around the moving averages here on the 4-hour and towards the resistance of the overall wedge that we are seeing here as well. So watch out for 90 on Activision. If that holds, we'll get that pop most likely, in my opinion. And if 95 breaks, that's why I have an alert at 98.50, which now that I'm looking at it, that's a bit high. But if 95 breaks, 98.50 could test, which was resistance beginning of April, middle of April. There could be an overall breakout on this stock, maybe back up to the hundreds, $105. So I'm going to put this alert at 95 for now, and I'm going to monitor it if it breaks 95.50. So we'll put that alert there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on Activision. And we have two tobacco stocks I'm looking at now. One of them is Altria MO. And you guys know that we got news recently that the Biden administration, they're looking to put some bans on the different cigarettes, menthol, and so forth, these different flavors. And that freaked out Altria. It freaked out the whole industry, quite frankly. And Altria went down from 52 to 47. That was a 10% haircut. That is pretty big, considering this is more of a legacy type company, right? Any drop under or over 5-10%, I mean, that's pretty huge. Imagine if Pepsi were to drop 10%, or if Procter & Gamble were to drop 10%. That is pretty big. But when you're looking at a company like, maybe Tesla, if it drops 5%, 10%, you're like, okay, just another day in the markets, right? Maybe not 10%. That's a pretty drastic drop for Tesla, but you guys get the point. And ever since that news came out, the stock dropped 10%, but now it seems like it's found its bottom, at least for now. And today we had a good day, up 1.3%, and the previous trading day was good as well. On Friday, we went up about 1.2%, right around there. So it looks like I said, in the short term, this could be a bottom where maybe we're seeing a recovery towards the $50, $51, $52 level. And yes, this is not the best news with the Biden administration doing this ban, but it's not necessarily going to happen, right? It's not necessarily going to hurt this company too much in the long term. That's still a bit cloudy, what could happen around that. And the stock looks like it's shaking it off. Dust is settling, right? And we're moving upwards. So we'll see if this lasts. I'm going to be watching this as a trade. BTI is another one. Pretty much same scenario, British American Tobacco here. This one's down 10% roughly from its peak. Now it's down to about $38, and it looks like overall the uptrend is holding, right? You guys can see that. And I'd love to see BTI break out of the 50 and the 180 SMAs here and ultimately take out $38 to $39. If that were to happen, then we might make our ascent back up to that $41, $42 level, which from where we are now, that's a trade of about 5, 7, 8%. So watch out for BTI. And the last one for today, guys, which I have an active swing position open right now, is DraftKings. DKNG is the ticker. And this one, it hasn't been doing much. We've had a couple fake outs the past couple of days where we thought it was going to break out, but it ended up dumping off, right? We got that a couple days ago. It got to $62 and it fell off. Then the next day, or 2 days after, it got to $60.50. Then it fell off, and today it did the same thing. Earlier in the market, it was up. It saw a nice push towards the mid-50s, and we ended up dumping off to 57. So at this point, I feel like DraftKings is waiting for earnings to come out, and by the looks of it, we're in a wedge. Yet again, another wedge. It's making higher lows, lower highs. So I'd love to see if DraftKings could break out of 60, 62. I mean, that's the big barrier right now on the stock, and that's also the 180 moving average resistance on the 4-hour, right around 62, 63 on the stock. So until we break mid-60s, guys, I think DraftKings is going to be in this funk, and I'm actually in this one, like I said, and I'm holding on for the next couple of weeks at least. This is one that I have conviction in as a swing and as a long-term position. So I'm just riding along at this point. And let's say it were to drop low 50s after earnings, I'm just going to buy more and hold on, because ultimately I think this stock is a mid 60, high 60, low $70 stock at the lower end. That is where I think it could end up going, and quite frankly, I think it could go higher than that. So those are a bunch of stocks that I'm watching, guys, my thoughts on the market and some stocks I own. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Don't forget to check out the previous video from earlier. I'll link that down below, and make sure to check out my Patreon if you guys want to support the channel a bit further. And of course, you get exclusive perks. Check out my Patreon link down below, or you can go to patreon.com/StasSurFest. That's patreon.com/StasSurFest. And you guys can go down below, get 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600 with a $100 deposit, and $30 from M1 Finance. Same thing as WeBull. Deposit $100, you get $30 from M1, and you could also get $10 from Coinbase. And again, all of those are linked down below. I'll catch you all in the next video, which is that 3 stocks video from earlier. I'll see you guys there. I'll pop it up here. Click that. I'll see you guys. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there. Keep crushing the markets. Peace out.